Have you ever felt stuck? Like you're spinning your wheels, putting in all this effort, but nothing really changes? Well, what if I told you that everything you think you know about success might be backwards? Today, we're going to dig into the hidden truth behind making real, lasting change, all based on the incredible ideas in Atomic Habits.
So let's start with this. We all have these huge ambitions, right? We're going to run a marathon, write that novel, totally transform our lives. But if we're being honest, those big plans usually just fizzle out. So the real question is, why? Why does that initial fire of motivation almost always burn out, leaving us right back where we started? Well, the answer is kind of shocking. It's because we've been sold a total myth. You know the one, the story about overnight success, massive breakthroughs, and these heroic, life-changing moments. But the real story of how people change is so much quieter, it's way less dramatic, and it turns out it's a whole lot more powerful.
And that quiet, powerful story all starts with our first big idea. It's not about making one giant leap. Nope. It's about the almost invisible power of making tiny, consistent improvements over and over again.
1%. That's it. I mean, it seems like nothing, right? It's almost laughably small. But that tiny, single percent, that's the magic number.
And that's the absolute key. It's not about getting 100% better once a month. It's about getting just 1% better every single day. Because those tiny little gains, they don't just add up. Oh no, they compound. They multiply.
And this right here, this is where the magic really happens. Just look at this. Your effort can be this flat, steady line. You're just showing up consistently. But for a long, long time, your results barely even move. This is what's called the plateau of latent potential. And honestly, it's where most of us give up because it feels like it's not working. But if you can just push through, look what happens. The results suddenly shoot upwards exponentially. Those tiny habits were building this incredible momentum under the surface the entire time.
And this isn't just some nice-sounding idea. It's a proven principle. It's called the aggregation of marginal gains. All it means is that these tiny little edges, when you stack them on top of each other, day after day, without fail, they produce an advantage so massive that, to everybody else, it looks like you just became an overnight success.
Okay, but how do you actually make these habits stick? That leads us to maybe the most profound mindset shift of all. It's about completely letting go of your goals and focusing on something way deeper.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got an outcome. I want to write a book. It's a goal with an endpoint. But on the right, you have an identity. I want to be a writer. You see, the person focused on the outcome waits around for inspiration to strike, but the person focused on their identity, they just do what a writer does. They write. Even if it's just a little bit every single day. The whole point isn't to achieve something, it's to become someone.
I want you to really let that one sink in for a second. Every single choice you make, no matter how small it seems, is you casting a vote. Are you voting for the fit person by taking the stairs instead of the elevator? Are you voting for the reader by picking up a book for just 5 minutes? You are, quite literally, building your own identity, one tiny vote at a time.
Think of it like this. Your identity is a masterpiece that you're painting. And every tiny little habit, every daily choice you make is another brushstroke on that canvas. Over time, all these small, deliberate strokes come together to create this clear, stunning portrait of the person you decided to be.
All right, so now we get the why. We understand the power of compounding and the importance of identity. This next part is all about the how. This is the practical, step-by-step system for building habits that actually finally last.
So, every single habit you have, good or bad, follows this exact same loop in your brain. First, there's a cue, like, say, your phone buzzing. That triggers a craving, that desire to see the notification. The response is you picking up your phone. And the reward? That little hit of satisfaction you get from reading the message. This loop runs on autopilot all day long.
So if you want to build good habit, all you have to do is hijack that loop. And you do it with these 4 super simple laws. You want to make the cue for a good habit totally obvious. You want to make the craving for it attractive. You want to make the habit itself incredibly easy to do. And you want to make the reward immediately satisfying. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just do the opposite. You invert these laws.
Here are some ridiculously simple examples. Want to start flossing more? Make it obvious. Put the floss right next to your toothbrush so you can't miss it. Having trouble getting yourself to go for a jog? Make it attractive. Only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're jogging. Want to work out in the morning? Make it easy. Lay out your clothes the night before so there's zero friction. And to make it satisfying, get a calendar and put a big X on every day you succeed. Just watching that chain grow is its own reward.
And this is such a critical truth. Let's be real, motivation comes and goes. Willpower, it's a battery that runs out. You can't rely on them. Your success doesn't depend on how big and ambitious your goals are, it depends entirely on how good your systems are. Your environment is just so much more powerful than your intention.
So let's bring all this home. Let's make it real. No more waiting for Monday or for the right time. This isn't about some massive, scary life overhaul. It's just about starting with one single atomic habit and starting today.
I want you to picture this. Imagine a plane taking off from Los Angeles, heading for New York City. If the pilot adjusts the heading just 1 single degree to the south, a change so small you'd never even notice it at takeoff, that plane would land in a completely different state. That tiny, imperceptible shift at the very beginning results in a massively different destination. Your first atomic habit, that's your 1 degree shift.
So here it is, your launch pad. It's just 3 simple steps. First, pick one tiny habit. And I mean so tiny you can't possibly say no. That casts a vote for the person you want to become. Second, design your space. Make the cues for that good habit impossible to miss and get rid of any barriers. And third, find a simple way to track it. A check mark on a calendar, a note in a journal, anything to make your progress visible and satisfying.
So, as we wrap this up, the only question that really matters is this one. Forget about tomorrow or next week or next year, I mean right now, today. What is the one tiny, almost invisible vote that you can make for the person you wish to become? Because that single action, that one atomic habit, it just might be the 1 degree shift that changes your entire destination.